The indigenous peoples in the Philippines are officially recognized by the Philippine Constitution and the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act or IPRA. Indigenous communities can be found in the forest, mountains, lowlands, and coastal regions of the country. They use a variety of agricultural methods, including swidden farming, established agriculture, hunting and gathering, cattle breeding, fishing, and the creation and sale of indigenous handicraft. Among the many characteristics shared by indigenous peoples is the deep sense of loyalty to their ancestral lands, territories, resources, and have a deep-seated belief that land is life. The southern Luzon region of the Philippines also have a distinct indigenous culture. Along the area of the Sierra Madre Range of eastern Luzon are the Dumagat, Pugot, and other Aeta groups whose economies have depended on swidden agriculture, hunting and gathering, fishing, and trade. Communities of Pinatubo, sometimes called Hambal, Aeta, and Sambal, live under the shadow of the Zambales Range.
And Baluga inhabit the northern western part of Pampanga and the southern area of Tarlac.
Along the Pacific coast, in the province of Quezon, Polillo Island, and the Bicol Peninsula are Agta groups, known as Kabihug from Camarines Norte, Agta Tabangon, Agta Cimarron, and Itom from Camarines Sur, Albay, and Sorsogon. Increasingly, these groups have depended on cultivation, fishing, gathering of forest products, and wage labor.
So for our first indigenous group, we have the Agtas. Agtas are known for their negroid features. They have a dark skin, kinky hair, and a small size. And for their location, there are about 4,600 Agtas living in Camarines Sur. And furthermore, there are also Agtas groups located all along the eastern side of the Luzon Islands, specifically in the provinces of Cagayan, Isabela, Aurora, Quirino, Quezon, and Camarines Norte. For their religion, most of them are Christians. In northern Aurora, there are 8% of the Agtas are called shamans, and they define it as an individual who has a familiar friend called bunog, who treats diseases, which is the primary role of the shamans. And for their beliefs, they classified two beings. The first one is the hayop or creature in English, and the belet or anito, which is the ghost in English. Moving on to their arts, women do weaving. They weave baskets and sleeping mats, and for men, they make fine arrows. They also put some decorations on their body and teeth, and their traditional clothing is tapis or a bahag, which is from gumihan tree. They still wear takupis as their headdress, and they also use nganga and pepper leaves, which they called ikmo or lukmoy. In place of jewelry, they scar their bodies with designs passed down from their forefathers. They call it asde. It is the toe to cleanse the body of the unclean blood. Moreover, uban is a piece of their clothing worn by a breastfeeding native. For their livelihood, Agtas raising crops, rice, and vegetables. They frequently have a short supply of rice, so they substitute it with dugma, or the boiling root crops. They also have a popular drink made from the lakad bulan. Furthermore, the presence of cumulus clouds at the time of planting is thought to increase kamote size. They also do hunting with sharp sticks, known as galuds. Birds are caught with labtik and bird traps built from dikit. The Agtas also make a living with fishing and hunting crabs. Their gadgets are baslay, a bow and arrow used for fishing, banwit, a slender bamboo, su, a small torch to attract fishes and crabs, agahid, net used for catching, kawit, hooked wire, sagad, rattan basket, and alawa, fish net for shallow waters. That's all for Agta.
Next tribe are the Dumagats. The Dumagat remontados are originated as well from Puray, Rodriguez, and Rizal, Philippines, having a variety of inheritance patterns. The remontados are mixed-blooded group of people with a deep, dark complexions, an average height of 128 centimeters, curly to straight hair, high cheekbones, tiny, somewhat flared nostrils, Mongol-type eyes, and teeth that are occasionally filed and red from eating betel nuts. Because of strenuous daily activity in the field, such as climbing hills and trekking in the woods, they have a slim and tiny build with powerful solid muscles and well-developed limbs, especially broad feet. Although the Dumagat remontados are semi-nomadic in the Philippines, no substantial outmigration has been observed. Their major source of living are traditional hunting and fishing, as well as the production of crops like kamote, banana, and coconut. Next is their clothing. Usually, in every tribe, their sources of clothing comes from the availability sources around them, just like the age, a kind of tree, particularly its stem part. The Dumagat usually use this as their clothing, especially during cold seasons. Lastly, their practice and beliefs. They believe that leaves can be a source of communication for their tribe. For example, if one member of their tribe was away from their home, he or she would deliver one kind of leaf through the flow of the water, and once it was delivered, they would already know what that leaf meant. It is their way of communicating because their ancestors weren't able to study. It is also their way of having a deep connection to the natural world.
The Vocaloid Tribe. The Vocaloid Tribe, like any other people, have an innate pride in their unique culture. Outsiders and lowlanders often wonder why we unashamedly refer to ourselves as such. We call our tribe and language Vocaloid from the root word ka-lot, meaning interweave or interwoven. Our lifestyle is generally interwoven, as can be seen in the way we build our houses, which must be interwoven with rattan. Our costumes and native attire must also be interwoven with many colorful decorations. Our artifacts too are traditionally interwoven with rattan or bamboo and other endemic natural materials like feathers, animal fur, etc. The Vocaloid tribe are commonly known to lowlanders as Ilongots. Here are some beliefs and practices of Vocaloid tribe. Gender inequality is connected to the positive cultural value placed on adventure, travel, and knowledge of the external world. Vocaloid men travel to far-flung locations more frequently than women. They gain knowledge of the outside world, to accumulated experiences there, and then return to impart their knowledge, adventures, and feelings in a public oratory so that the others could benefit from their experiences. As a result of their exploits, the Vocaloid men won fame. Vocaloid women had lower status since they lacked external experiences on which to base their knowledge and expressiveness. Between a society's prestige structures and actual power, even if a male has a high amount of prestige, he may not have significant economic or political power in comparison to those in society who are less prestigious.
In the Philippines, Aetas are among the earliest known settlers or migrants. Hindi na sila bago sa atin kasi yung resemblance, yung pagkakakilala natin sa nila ay may curly hair at dark skin. So, yung way of life nila ay hunting and gathering in the forest. Tapos, nag-engage din sila sa agriculture. So, focusing on Aeta dances, yung mga dances nila ay nagre-reflect sa culture nila, sa society na kung saan sila nabibilang. So, yung mga dances nila ay categorized into two types. May festive dancing, which is mostly na ginagawa nila tuwing masaya sila pag may gusto silang i-celebrate. Pag may good hunt, good harvest, o kaya pag may mga bago silang friends na nami-meet. Tapos yung ceremonial dancing naman, mas specific yung purpose niya kasi katulad ng religious dancing, karaniwan nilang ginagawa yon kapag full moon. Tapos, meron dito, perfect example of an Aeta dance na ginagamitan ng ibaran bakil or gitaha. Sa atin, gitara. Ang anituhan na ito ay group healing routine kung saan yung mga sick people ay nakaupo sa ground na merong long red cloths na nakatakip sa ulo nila hanggang sa shoulder para mapagaling sila. Tapos yung mga sayaw nila, hindi lang basta sayaw, may dance titles na commonly nakapangalan sa animals or sa daily activities na ginagawa nila. Historical background naman, nagre-reflect sa kanilang culture at traditions. Tapos yung dance steps nila ay directly na ini-imitate nila yung movement ng animals nila or kaya yung daily activities nila. Yung music naman ay karaniwang ginagamitan ng native guitar, flute, and bamboo. Yung costume sa lalaki ay lubay, yung pambaba. Tapos sa babae naman ang ginagamit nila para makover yung katawan nila from top to bottom. Bottom ay tapis.
Subic sa parehang pagtrabaho dahil ulolinggoy sa mukha ay kakawan. Tawa mong mahilimay lumay po. Sige! Sige!
The Abilene Tribe are indigenous people living in the province of Tarlac, Philippines. They reside on the foot of the province mountain range. During every Anito festival, they transfer the Anito or the spirit from the aging host to the younger host. Dances, feasts, and animal sacrifices are held by the Abilene in a week-long ritual where everyone in the village is involved. Some of their physical features are similar to our Aeta brothers, but they are bigger in the stature and have less kinky hair. It is believed that the Abilenes are also descendants of the most popular known Aeta tribes like the Mag-Indi, Magansi, Ambala, and Marivileños. Their physical features are slightly bigger than the popular known size of the Aborigines. Their hair is not so kinky unlike those of the Magansi tribe. Others dub them as the Aeta mestizos. The Abilenes stay also together in communities scattered all over the highlands of Bamban, Capas, San Jose, Mayantok, and Tarlac City. The Abilene Tribe is little-known cultural minority found the mountainous part of western Tarlac, where little features differentiate them from our brother Aetas. In Sitio San Pedro, Barangay Iba, San Jose, Tarlac, around 290 Abilene families dot the mountain ranges. Abilene tribal vice leader Johnny Basilio said that according to his ancestor oral history, they have been hunting and gathering in the province of Tarlac even before the Aetas. Another proof, he said, is their language, Abilene, is way different from the Aeta Sambal dialect. Today, most of Abilene are farmers, carpenter, and fishermen. They rely heavily on the forests around them for food, shelter, and medicine. Like other indigenous tribes in the Philippines, the preservation of their culture is threatened by poverty and the temptation of modern city life. Many of each younger generation choose to leave the Abilene community to work in the city. The Abilene Tribe is ruled by the Council of Elders, composed of 14 individuals. All are well versed in herbal medicine, hunting, fishing, gathering, trade craft like weaving, cooking, bow and arrow making. But in choosing a worthy council member, the spirit have to invoke through dancing day and night, drinking and offering of foods and pig. This is called the Paduyduy, or Thanksgiving ritual typically celebrated for bountiful harvest.